Well, you can't come with me. You'll give everything away. Makoto, why do you seem so surprised? Nothing's wrong. Why would anything be wrong? Ha 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 ha. He's acting really strange. Well, I guess he's always acting really strange. Okay, well, gonna go back to my room now. Take her easy, partner. See ya. Haha. What the hell was that about? Oh, hey, it's you. What the hell was that?
Have you reached that certain age?
My obsession. What are you doing? Living? I see. Anyway, I'm heading back to my room. I'll just be there living, totally calm. If I still did Twitch, I would totally make that like my subscription noise. Alright, bathroom.
Hey.
Hey, Makoto.
Why?
Are you sure all the documents are gone? I refuse to believe you. You're awfully passionate about this all of a sudden. Go and check again. What?
Listen to me.
Just hurry up and go, and to make sure you don't run off, I'm gonna wait right here. Oh, I get it, she's acting. She was so forceful, I thought I'd made her mad again somehow.
Just a second.
Why are you just standing there? Hurry up and go. Okay, I'm going.
So then...
I'll be thorough. Counting on you. If he knows about this room, and he knows that Makoto is... Monokuma, that is. If he knows about this room, and he knows Makoto's going back in here, wouldn't you check the room afterward? If you're Monokuma. Like, how are they gonna hide the laptop? Okay, first we have to find a network cable. Alright, she said desk drawer. According to Kyoko, there should be a bunch of cables in this drawer. Found it. This is a network cable, right? Now we just have to connect alter ego. I immediately got to work. He's gonna put this laptop in like the most obvious place possible. I pulled out the laptop and connected it to the Ethernet port with the cable. Yeah, I figured. And that should do it.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it worked.
Leave it to me.
Just leave the rest to me. I swear I'll find something. I might even be able to connect to the outside world. If I can, I'll see if I can call for help. So please just wait a while longer. A little while longer.
Gonna do my best.
Just hold tight and put your faith in me. As I was about to leave, I decided to leave him with one last thing. No matter what, we're gonna get out of here, you and all the rest of us as friends. Friends? Even me?
Thank you.
Thank you, Makoto. Yeah, I would be really worried about Monokuma just going back into that room and finding that laptop. I mean, aside from the fact that he might detect her on the network. How'd it go? Well, it went okay, but all the, documents were gone, just like I told you. My reply was an unintentional mix of acting and real feelings.
Correct.
I see. Then there's nothing left for us here.
Goodbye.
Before I knew it, Kyoko was walking away. She wasn't acting anymore, that much was for sure. Kyoko.
What?
Yes. So we're just gonna split up. What did that look like to you, Makoto?
Why is that?
Of course, I have no reason to stay with you at this point. Well, maybe, but isn't that a little too direct?
Whew.
Should I hesitate and fumble for something to say? You're so high maintenance. That's not what I meant. I just had more I wanted to talk to you about, like, what are you going to do about Sakura?
It's true.
Well, something has to be done, it's true.
However...
But the way things are right now, there's no way to persuade anyone. They don't have the mind to listen. Then what should we...
So...
If we can find some new clue that would likely change the situation, that's all we can hope for right now. Which is why alter ego.
Correct.
All we can do is wait and believe in our friends. You're right. That's our only option. We parted ways and I headed back to my room. I'm kinda tired, so I lay down in bed. Maybe it was because of the stress of moving alter ego, but I was way more tired than I realized. So before long at all, I had completely dozed off. That's never good. Huh? The sharp sound of the doorbell pierced my sleepy haze and pulled me back to the real world. Rattle.
Makoto.
Makoto, get out here. Kyoko, what's going on?
Indeed.
Hina just came to see me and she was white as a ghost. It sounds like something's happened. What? As soon as I heard those words, my heart started to beat a little faster. I suddenly found myself wide awake. She said for us to come to the rec room. The rec room. Okay, let's hurry. Oh, we're here already. Okay. What's up?
Huh?
Makoto, Kyoko. Hina, what's wrong? Something's not right. In the rec room. What's inside? Oh my god, did somebody scratch the pool table? There was a window on the rec room door and I hurried to look inside. And when I did... Sakura? Is she unconscious? No, I'll bet she's been poisoned. If she's dead. She's sitting up in a chair like she's bowing her head.
Hey.
What's going on? Did something happen to her?
Huh?
I was just walking past and I happened to notice her through the window, but I couldn't get the door open. I tried knocking, I tried calling her name, but she wouldn't respond. So what should we do? What are we gonna do?
Anyway.
First of all, we need to get in that room. But the door's locked, right? And if we break in, we'll be violating school regulations.
Listen to me.
We're going to force our way in. I just said...
Wrong.
The door isn't locked. It's not locked because the rec room door doesn't have a lock. Huh? Then why?
It would seem...
It feels like the door is pressing up against something inside the room. Is it the chair? Chair.
In other words...
Either way, this door isn't locked, which means as far as I can tell, the rule doesn't apply. Then there's no problem if we break in.
Indeed.
Let's smash the window. That should be the fastest way. Okay, I'll go get something to break it with. Wait right here. Inside the rec room, Sakura still hadn't moved an inch. There's something on the ground by her left foot. She's just unconscious, right? Is she okay? I mean, it's Sakura, so I'm sure. This game's kind of getting to a point now where it's like, oh my god, they killed insert name here. Because I can't see him killing off Sakura yet, but somebody's gotta die. Kyoko didn't reply. There was only silence. But that silence didn't last long. Here. I found a broom in the classroom. Use it.
Makoto.
You can handle this, right, Makoto? I don't know.
Please!
Come on, please, hurry. Okay, you two stand back. I took hold of the broom and swung as hard as I could. Aiming directly at the window, all it took was one solid hit. The window shattered into 100 pieces, scattering across the rec room floor. I stuck my hand through the now open window and started jostling the chair leaning against the door. The chair is pretty heavy, but if I can just... I pushed it with all my strength and finally the knob turned. Sakura. I ran up to her as fast as I could, but the moment I laid my hand on her... Wow, they did kill her off, didn't they? Surely she got a smile on her face. All I felt was cold death. I could feel only the last lingering warmth of a living body. Life had abandoned Sakura's body. And then...
body has been discovered. After a certain amount of time, which you may use however you like, the class trial will begin.
Wow, I kind of wasn't expecting them to take Sakura out here. All-star apologies.
Danganronpa.
Huh? Sakura's.
Oh, she's gonna lose her shit.
Sakura's dead? She's really dead?
I was kind of wondering how they were gonna take her out of this because she's almost too strong. I heard Hina talking, but my eyes stared steadily forward. I could only look on at Sakura's dead body. We didn't make it in time. It's happened again. Muttering to herself, Kyoko began to gently inspect Sakura's body. I wondered, was she confirming that Sakura really was dead, checking for a pulse or a reaction? I have to go get them. I have to go get the others. On shaky legs, Hina left the rec room. I'm not sure sending her to get Byakuya or Toko with this going on is probably a good idea. And why? Why did this have to happen? That's all I could say. I repeated it over and over again. I need to examine Sakura's body. I just stood there motionless behind her while she checked Sakura's corpse. Time passed. While I stood there unable to do a thing, time just passed. And after I don't know how long, I got everyone. There's a few things that don't make sense here.
What?
Ogre.
Yes.
Oh, so she's dead, huh? This is not gonna end well.
I see.
Sakura's been killed, I see. As soon as they arrived, Kyoko began.
Just a second.
You heard the announcement just now, right? So you know what this means.
Interesting.
Sakura was murdered, and by someone in his very room. Is that what you were going to say?
Huh?
No. Whoever killed her, it's not just someone in this room.
It's your fault.
It was one of you, Hiro, Byakuya, Toko, one of you killed Sakura.
What?
You're accusing us before we've even begun the investigation. I don't need to investigate anything. Because you hated her, you hated the sight of her.
I won't forgive you.
One of you did it, I know it. You know it.
Ba-bum, ba-bum.
Jeez, I didn't know your power level would increase by that much just by getting mad.
What the heck?
What are you doing here?
Come on!
Isn't it obvious? I'm here to hand out my little murder flyer.
It's the Monokuma file!
That's right, it's the next Monokuma file. And don't get so mad, Miss Asahino, or you're gonna ruin that lewd little face of yours. Now then, with that, hold on. There's something I want to ask you. It was you, wasn't it? You killed Sakura.
Say what?
Uh-huh. Sakura wanted to challenge the mastermind to a duel. Maybe you and her fought again, and
In other words,
then I killed her. Sorry, not quite. Actually, not even close. That whole thing is totally irrelevant now. Sakura came to a most regrettable end without even getting the chance to finish things with me. Which, thank God for that, it saved me the trouble of having to go through with our little fight. Because even for someone like me, it would have been no mean feat to take down a behemoth like that.
hey,
I gotta tell you, I was actually pretty worried. I mean, she'd violated a rule by attacking me in the first place, but I wasn't able to punish her.
well done.
So I don't know who it was, but whoever the Blackened is this time, I owe you one. Wait a minute, he doesn't know who did it?
What is this?
You owe them one. How do you not know who did it? Oopsie, before you get all pissy potty at me, you better figure out who did it first.
Shing!
Because I mean, your lives are all on the line, right?
What is this?
What the hell? He owes them one.
I won't forgive you.
I hate him. I hate this whole thing. Well, I, for one, am glad it was Sakura. She was working for the mastermind after all. How can you say that now? Sorry, I don't have time for your squabbling. The next game has already begun. If you want to be angry at someone, be angry at whoever kills Sakura.
Anyway,
Right now, our top priority needs to be uncovering Sakura's killer. If we can't do that, we're all dead. Then let's decide who will stand guard this time. I'll do it. Hina, I'm okay. Just let me handle it. Besides, I want to be here with Sakura.
That's fine.
Okay, then Hina is guard number 1, but we need one more. Kyoko, that's you.
what?
Me. You're always a thorn in my side. This time, just stand by and watch quietly. Consider that an order. Kyoko, whoop your ever-loving ass, dude. An order.
That's fine.
Fine, I'll stay behind. Then it's settled. Let's begin, shall we? Hold on. Before that, there's something I want to say,
What?
which is... Hiro, Byakuya, Toko, none of you are allowed to step foot in the crime scene.
Huh?
What?
It's your fault!
One of you killed Sakura.
I won't forgive you.
I won't let someone like that come anywhere near her.
Stop talking.
Don't be stupid, our lives are in just as much danger as yours. We have every right to investigate. I don't care what you say, I'm not letting the one who killed Sakura anywhere near her. Even if it means I have to use force, you're not getting in here. Well, it appears further discussion would be a waste of time. How about a compromise?
It's all clear now.
I won't ask you to let all of us in, just let me. You don't really care, do you? You're both useless anyway. Nope, don't really care. I'd rather spend my time coming up with another splendid fantasy involving Master anyway. And you, Hiro, do you really object? If you're gonna go that far, what can I do? I mean, I don't have anything to hide, so why should I care?
It's all clear now.
Then it's decided.
What are you saying?
Nothing's decided.
Calm down.
I know how you feel, Hina, but you should agree to his request. But
Hey,
we have to find out who killed Sakura.
correct.
For those of us still alive and to honor Sakura's memory. Fine, I guess that's okay. But no matter what, Byakuya, you absolutely aren't allowed to touch her. Naturally, who'd want to touch a filthy dead body?
Listen.
That's enough fighting. We need to focus on the investigation from here on out. Everyone keep this in mind. If we can't uncover Sakura's killer,
Listen to me.
all of us face execution. Finding out who killed Sakura, it's not a matter of hoping we can do it. If we want to survive, we have to do it. It's a kind of hopeless hope. There's blood on the floor over there. We have no choice but to just do it, and there's something behind Sakura. I better check the Monokuma file before anything else. The victim was Sakura Ogami. Time of death is estimated to be around 12 noon. The body was discovered in a rec room on the 3rd floor of the school. There is evidence of a strong blow to the victim's head. No other injuries were noted. However, it seems that at some point the victim suffered from violent vomiting of blood. That has to be poison. That poison wasn't in that room for no reason.
Hey,
I think the case this time might be a challenge. Why's that?
so...
The only way into the rec room is the door we just came through, and that door had been jammed shut with the chair from inside the rec room, which means the killer would have had to escape somehow after barring the door. So if the door was blocked from the inside, there was no way in or out until we broke the window. There's like zero escape, right?
In other words,
this is a classic locked room murder. Okay, now I'm back to not thinking she's an android and thinking she is just the ultimate detective. Locked room murder. I guess you might see this kind of thing a lot in mystery movies or books or whatever. But could it really happen in real life? And right before our very eyes like this?
hey,
Are you curious to hear more about what a locked room murder entails? I imagine it has to do with somebody being locked in a room and they're the only person in it and the lock's on the inside. Sure, if you don't mind.
that's fine.
When you break down this kind of murder mystery, there are 4 basic types. The first type is when the locked room is created after the actual crime is committed. This simply means that the killer commits his crime, then through some special method seals the room. This mainly involves some sort of trick involving the locking of the room. Basic approaches include using a string or simple mechanism. There are a number of variations. So for that, all we'd have to do is check the door to see if that's what it was, right?
Correct.
The second type is when the locked room already exists before the crime is committed. Oh.
In other words,
Basically, the killer uses a special contraption or tool from outside to target the victim inside. You push a switch and it fires a handgun, you shoot an arrow through a gap in the door or something like that.
however,
But in this case, that doesn't seem to fit. There are no guns or arrows in the school, and the door doesn't have any gap that would allow it. I wonder if you could make an arrow. Yeah, I think we can probably cross that one off the list.
it's true.
The third type is when the killer stays in the room until it's opened up. What do you mean by that?
In other words,
They stay hidden, and when the door is open, they use the confusion to blend in with the group. They pretend they showed up along with everyone else, and that's that. That sounds like it could have been possible, maybe.
it's true.
How would it have been possible? She was the only one in the room when we came in. And then Hina went and got everybody else. And the fourth and final type is when it wasn't actually a locked room at all. Not a locked room.
In other words,
By that I mean, there actually is an alternate escape route somewhere within the room. You see this a lot in novels and things, but in reality it's generally not possible. Then you think we can cross that one off too?
indeed.
I believe so, yes. So when it comes to locked room mysteries, those are the basics. So there are 4 possibilities. Then Kyoko, which of those 4 choices seems the most likely in this case?
It's true.
That's a good question. Answering that should be our primary focus during this trial. Right now I can't really say. I see. The way the killer set up the locked room, until I figure that out, the truth behind Sakura's death will stay hidden. It's definitely a tough mystery. I need to concentrate and investigate as much as I can. For Sakura, if nothing else. This is complicated. Maybe it has something to do with that locker that Makoto refused to open forever, and it just happens to be open right now for some reason. There's a lot going on in here. Huh? The locker's open and they're on the inside. It's a handprint?
Why?
What's a handprint doing here? It looks like someone touched the inside of the locker and it left a handprint in all the dust.
It's true.
And it looks quite fresh too. I'd say someone was hiding here in the locker and they left behind a little something extra. So then, maybe the killer hidden here until the locked room was open. Don't you think? Wait a minute. Are they trying to say that Sakura was in the room by herself, Makoto, Hina, and Kyoko came in and somehow didn't notice somebody come out of that locker and leave? That does not make any sense. And during all the confusion, they popped out and joined the rest of the group. Yeah, but Hina went and got the other 3 from somewhere else. It couldn't have been that.
Wrong.
Unfortunately, that's not a possibility. Huh? Why not?
Hey,
Think back. Before we opened the door, we looked inside the room, right? Oh yeah, and the locker was already open at that point.
indeed.
So there's no way someone could have hidden in there until after we opened the door. They probably hid in there and ambushed Sakura. Yeah, so then, what does this handprint mean? Locker handprint has been added to the truth bullet section of your handbook. There are shards of glass scattered all around the chair Sakura was sitting in. I bet that's one of those bottles. The glass is all red, and these are the top and bottom sections of a bottle, right? So this must have originally been a bottle. Glass shards on the floor have been added to the true bullets section. Huh, there's something else on the ground near the glass. It's a figure. It fits in the palm of my hand. It's a Monokuma figure. Figure on the floor. Is that this? Looks like it. There are 4 red bottles lined up on the shelf. And inside each bottle, there's some kind of Monokuma figure. What I'm wondering is how they get those figures inside the bottles.
So...
It's no different from your standard ship in a bottle, huh? You know, where the bottle's opening is smaller than the boat placed inside? You've never seen that? Oh yeah, maybe I have. How have you not seen that?
in other words...
So this is the Monokuma version of that, a Monokuma bottle, if you will. Monokuma bottle has been added to the true pool section. I feel like I'm finally starting to make sense of things little by little. The Monokuma bottle sitting on the shelf. The Monokuma figure we found on the floor, on the ground. The red shards of glass which probably started out as a bottle. Which would mean Sakura must have been hit in the head with a Monokuma bottle, right? The shards of glass and the Monokuma figure are evidence of that. So I think it's safe to say that the Monokuma bottle was the weapon. Makes sense. My guess is they came out of the locker and clunked her on the head and she was just sitting there. What's this? This looks like some kind of wrapper.
Huh?
Ah, that's... Do you recognize it, Hina?
Well...
Oh yeah, I mean I gave it to her. That's a candy wrapper. Shea poison candy. Sakura got super upset when she found out Genocide Jack had attacked me, right? So after we left the nurse's office, I gave it to her. I thought it might help her calm down a little. So I gave that candy to Sakura. I found a big box fit in a warehouse. I really like them. So maybe someone poisoned the box in the warehouse? Maybe they were trying to target someone randomly? Maybe they were trying to target Hina because they knew that she really liked them, like she just said, and Sakura ate it instead. Which, man, that would be a horrible case of survivor's guilt for her, wouldn't it? Actually, as soon as we could get into the warehouse, I took the entire box back to my room. This makes me think it wasn't Hina. I don't know why it would be Hina, but I mean, that would be a hell of a curveball, but I don't see why Hina would just admit that she gave her poison candy. I made sure nobody else could get their hands on them. You really like them that much?
'Cause, I mean...
But I wanted Sakura to get a chance to try one for herself, that's why I gave it to her. And I'll bet it was poisoned. But now they've lost all their flavor. Hina. Polka dot candy wrapper has been added to the true pool section of your handbook. Now let's check the body. Sakura drew her last breath sitting slumped forward in this chair. There's obvious evidence of the blow to the head Sakura suffered. Normally I wouldn't have any problem believing that that's what killed her, but according to the Monokuma file, she had also vomited blood. And I could see a trace of blood on her lips for sure. So what would have caused her to vomit blood? The Monokuma file specifically says she hadn't suffered any other injuries. Status of Sakura's body has been added. Maybe her getting hit on the head somehow caused her to start vomiting blood. Not a chance. Byakuya.
That's fine.
However, your eyes have landed on a most interesting location. Interesting?
Naturally.
Yes, most interesting, don't you agree? No, I don't think I'd call it interesting. But it does make you wonder. The reason Sakura vomited blood absolutely has to be connected to why she died. Yeah, she was poisoned. Hater's blood over here. Forgot about that. The same shelf full of magazines. There's all kinds of different magazines here. Nah, that's not necessarily what I'm looking for. There's a blood stain in front of the magazine shelf. It must have come from Sakura, right? But that doesn't make sense. Why is it so far away from where she died? That's a good question. Magazine shelf blood stain has been added to the true pool section of your handbook. I can't look at the dartboard. It's around 1 o'clock right now. According to the Monokuma file, Sakura died around 12 noon, so roughly an hour ago. Was that when Kyoko and I were moving alter ego?
What the heck?
We already know who did it.
I won't forgive you.
Byakuya, Toko, or Hiro, it had to be one of them. Well, if it's one of them, then we don't know who did it, do we? They couldn't stand the sight of her. You agree with me, don't you, Makoto? Well, I don't want to say anything for sure without finding out more. Then let me help you find out more. You see, Sakura asked all three of them to meet with her. You know where? Right here in the rec room. What? After I went to the nurse's office this morning, Sakura and I both left together, right? Well, eventually she went off on her own. But when I saw her again after that, she told me. She said she'd left a note for each of them. She asked them to meet her in the rec room by noon. By noon, the Monokuma file says she died right around then. I'm telling you the truth, I heard it right from Sakura herself. And I tried to stop her. But she wouldn't listen. She said not to worry, that she just wanted to talk to them. And this is what happened. If I'd stopped her by force even, this never would have happened. Hina. It's impossible not to have regrets, I know. You know what? I don't know why she would do it, but maybe it does make sense that Hina would bring up the candy wrapper because she's assuming that we wouldn't find out it was poisoned. I don't see Hina killing Sakura, though. That would seem really out of left field. But the fact that she had asked those three to meet with her, and she asked them to come to the rec room at noon, same time and place she ended up dying. It might be good to confirm what I just heard with the three of them directly.
However,
But for Sakura to have been killed, yeah, she's not the type who would go down without a fight.
it's true.
And she certainly didn't, I would say. She was the ultimate martial artist, strong in body, mind, and spirit. So how was the killer able to get the upper hand on her? I wonder, did someone get the upper hand? They must have taken her by surprise, right?
Certainly.
Certainly they would have needed to if they expected to stand any chance against her. Okay, that's where we busted in. Wait a minute. There's some kind of plastic container rolling around near the entrance to the room.
So,
It looks like a protein drink and it's empty. Well, then why would a candy come into play? Sakura must have drank it. Everyone knows how much she loved her protein. And she mentioned more than once how protein was good for all sorts of ailments. Maybe the protein drink was poisoned?
wrong.
I wouldn't take that to heart if I were you. I know. But still, this protein can. It's got a label on it that says Chem A2. That reminds me, Sakura mentioned how the Chem Lab had all kinds of health stuff. So she must have gotten this from the Chem Lab.
Just a second.
But that's strange. What is?
Hey,
You see what's scattered around the can? Shards of light blue glass. That must be parts of the window I broke to get inside.
correct.
They weren't just scattered around the can, they're also underneath it. Okay, now this is getting weird. Why does that matter?
So,
I can't say for sure yet, but you're probably going to want to take note of it. I feel like it'll become an important clue later on. Important clue, I'm not sure I see how. Makoto is pretty obvious. Empty protein drink has been added to the Trupolis section.
What?
What do you want? You're bothering me. There's something I'd like to talk to you about, jackass. Make it quick. Is it true that Sakura asked you to meet her in the rec room? So you found out. Interesting. Then it's true. I did receive a note to that effect, yes. But what fool would do what it said and risk being killed by that monster? So you didn't go see her? Of course not. I ripped the note to shreds and threw it away. I haven't seen Sakura today at all. Byakuya says he didn't go see her. Is that the truth? Well, until I can prove otherwise, I have no choice but to accept it as fact.
Come on.
If you're all finished, please remove yourself from my sight. Okay, thanks. Alright, so we got that. The chair was shoved up against the doorknob so we couldn't get the door open. There's no evidence that any kind of string or mechanism was used on the chair. In other words, there's no reason to think the chair had anything special done to it. Hina found the body. Hina, I'm starting to worry here a little bit that you got something to do with this. I don't know why. This door is the only way in or out of the rec room. The door doesn't have a lock and there's no evidence that the mountings have been tampered with. The only notable change to the door is the smashed window, which happened of course when I broke it to get inside. There's no evidence that any kind of string or mechanism was used on the door. In other words, I don't see anything suspicious about the door itself. This is all pointing to Sakura being the one to put the chair up against the doorknob. Having examined both the door and the chair, there's no doubt the reason the door didn't open was simply because the chair was shoved up against it. This kept the doorknob from turning and the door from opening. And there was no evidence of the door or chair being tampered with or anything like that. So the killer must have created the locked door from the inside, not from the outside. Rec room door has been added.
Listen.
Well, Makoto, have you finished with your general investigation? Yeah, I think so for the most part.
So then,
You should probably go talk with people now. I'm on guard duty, so I can't leave.
listen to me.
Which is why I've decided you'll go in my place. She's decided. She's gotten a lot more pushy since we had our issue. But she's right. I do have to go talk to the others. Sakura wanted me to meet with 2 other people. I need to hear what they have to say. Alright, so we need to find Hiro. We need to find Toko. Those other 2 probably went back to their rooms. Oh, thanks for the quick teleport. Appreciate it. Toko's at the corner on the end here. Oh no, there she is. I pressed the doorbell. And after a few seconds...
Who's there?
the most negative aura I've ever felt. An aura of total decay.
Well, what do you want?
So you're back to normal. Genocide Jack isn't around anymore.
Don't even say her name. It makes me sick to my stomach. I was in such a good mood, too.
She didn't look like she was in a good mood.
Hey, I was hoping to talk to you about something. Is now a bad time?
Obviously annoyed, Toko slithered out into the hallway.
What do you want?
You said you wanted to talk to me about something. I wanted to talk to you about the fact that Sakura had asked to meet with you.
Well,
I don't know what you're talking about. Yaki already told me she had asked to meet with him. Well, and she wanted to meet with Master too. I just said 2, didn't I? I guess now it's totally obvious, huh? Yeah, pretty much. So can you tell me about it? I admit I did get the note. But I didn't go see her. I was so scared, so I couldn't bring myself to go. Toko claims she didn't go see her, but can I really believe her? Well, until I can prove otherwise, I have no choice but to accept it as fact. Is that good enough? Then I'm going back to my room. With that, Toko quickly retreated into her room. Toko's account has been added. Like, if it ends up not being Hina, which I'm hoping it's not Hina, I would think it would be Toko, maybe. I don't think it's Byakuya. I pressed the doorbell. After a few seconds.
You know?
What's up, Makoto? Did you need something? Yeah, actually, I just wanted to check something. It's about how Sakura wanted to meet with you.
What?
How'd you know about that?
Could it be?
Did you maybe gaze into my soul? Have your special abilities awakened in you? But I'm not the only one she wanted to meet with. Ogre told me herself that she asked Byakuya and Toko to come too. What? When does Sakura tell you that? Oh, well... when she asked me to meet with her, of course. But I thought she gave you a note. But she didn't write you a note. Yeah, a note. She
How about that?
She gave it to me in person, and she happened to mention the others, like, in passing. I gotta be honest, this is super suspicious. So then you went and met with Sakura.
You got it all wrong.
No way, I totally didn't. Why would I ever do that? Yeah, definitely suspicious.
Actually,
Last time I saw Ogre was when Hina got hurt and I took her to the nurse's office.
don't look at me.
I haven't seen her since then. While I'm here, could you show me the note she gave you? Oh, do I still have it? Let's see. Hiro was feeling around in his pockets.
Hey, come on.
Sorry, looks like I don't have it anymore. With a big goofy smile on his face, he pulled his hands back out of his pockets. And when he did, I saw something flutter to the ground. Something had fallen out of Hiro's pocket. Huh?
What?
Quick as the wind, Hiro snatched it back up again and shoved it back into his pocket.
Hey, come on.
Sorry, just a bit of trash I forgot to throw out. Trash.
What?
Anyway, I can't deny the ogress to meet with me, but I never went. So, well, if you'll excuse me. Okay, so why does he have a candy wrapper? I don't think he did it. He's too stupid. And he's kind of making it obvious, and he just also doesn't seem the type. Like, can you seriously picture him trying to poison someone to death? Before waiting for a reply, Hiro quickly slipped back into his room. Hiro said that was just trash, but there's no way that's all there was to it. Pocket trash has been added to the true rules section. Okay, so I've heard from Toko and Hiro. What next? I'll definitely have to look at the actual crime scene again, but on top of that, maybe I should find out more about the protein can we found on the floor of the rec room. I'm sure it must have come from the chem lab, so where should I start? Let's go to the chem lab.
What?
Makoto, did you have your eye on the chem lab too? Just make sure you don't get in my way. Yeah, I got it. I think what you meant to say was, yes sir, I understand. No, what I meant to say was, get the hell out of my way, you skinny little shit. Okay, well, this looks suspicious. This isn't my first time seeing this shelf, but I just can't get over how big it is. I probably should take a closer look at it. It looks like 3 shelves have been connected together to form one giant shelf. But more important right now, what's that powder that's been spilled in front of the shelf? I have to be careful not to step in it. They're labeled A, B, and C. Why is that going to come into play? Let's see what's on this shelf. There are all kinds of dietary supplements and different medicines. The protein drink we found in the rec room probably came from this shelf. All the containers on this shelf are labeled with the letter A and a number. So I guess I could consider this part of the shelving unit section A, except there's clearly something listed as C9 with a skull and crossbones on it. Huh, but wait. There's one bottle here that's labeled Chem C9. Could someone have put it here on accident? So on this shelf is... it looks like a bunch of chemicals that I have no idea what they are. They're reagents. Put simply, they're used in experiments to bring about a chemical reaction. How have you lived in such ignorance for so long? It must truly be bliss. Isn't that kind of harsh?
What?
What, you think studying science and mathematics has no practical application in the real world?
That's fine.
The words of a lifelong loser, which I suppose suits you well. Can I just poison them right now? I didn't even say that. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Right now I need to focus on the shelf. All the containers on this shelf are labeled with the letter B and a number. So I guess I could consider this part of the shelving unit section B. I don't see anything out of the ordinary here. In which case I don't think I have to worry too much about this shelf. On this shelf is... one look and I can tell it's nothing but dangerous chemicals. These look like poisons and other powerful chemicals. All the containers on this shelf are labeled with the letter C and a number. So I guess I could consider this part of the shelving unit section C. I should try to find out more about this shelving unit. It looks like it's split in 3 sections. Section A has dietary supplements, Section B has reagents, and Section C has lethal chemicals. Sakura must have gotten the protein powder from Section A. But what concerns me is that in Section A, there was a bottle with a label from Section C. What was a bottle of poison from Section C doing in Section A? There's definitely something going on there. Chem lab shelf. Yeah, she was poisoned. There's a broken bottle in front of the shelf. Is this where all the powder came from? It looks like the bottle had a label on it. Chem C4. Would you like to hear something interesting? Sure, do you know anybody who might have something interesting to say? I was on the 4th floor this morning checking things out, and at that point this room wasn't like this. Then this powder must have been spilled.
So in other words...
That's right, it could only have been around the time of the incident. If that really is when it happened, it must be related to the case somehow. Well, I mean, is that really a secret? There's a bunch of yellow powder scattered on the floor. I better not leave a footprint. Somebody did, though. These are footprints, and they're only in front of the left shelf. How do these footprints relate to the scene as a whole? We may need to sketch out the floor plan. By we, do you mean me? How kind of you to offer. With an insufferable smirk, he handed me a piece of paper and a pen.
What?
Well, let's go, chop chop. Okay. So I got to work, and before long, I'd drawn up a sketch of the room. I need a sketch of a room. So how's this? Not bad for you, I mean. For me.
See.
So when you look at it like this, interesting. It would appear that whoever left these footprints only had business at the leftmost shelf. They came in, went straight to that shelf, did whatever they had to do, and then left. And they're not near the bottle. And that's what the footprints tell me.
I see.
These footprints must be...
It's certainly possible.
Makoto, are they yours? No.
What?
Okay, then let me see your shoes and I'll confirm their size for myself. I couldn't think of a reason not to, so I quietly did what Byakuya said. I see. Your feet do appear to be too big. Unfortunately, I must admit these are not your footprints. Unfortunately. But with how clear these prints are, it should be quite easy to determine who they do belong to. Then these prints are a really valuable clue. I should probably take a good, hard look at that powder. There's a bunch of yellow powders scattered on the floor in front of the shelf. There's also the remains of a broken bottle. It looks like the bottle was labeled Chem C4. Also, it looks like someone left some footprints in the powder. Based on the positioning of the prints, whoever it was only went to the left side of the shelf. According to Byakuya, the powder would had to have been spilled right around the time of the incident. That's all I can tell for now. Footprints in the powder. I've already taken a good look at the chem lab. Maybe I should take another look around the rec room. I gotta admit, I'm kinda at a loss here with this one. In a lot of ways. Like, I don't know how the door thing could have worked unless Sakura barred the door. I don't know why they would have.
I see.
Makoto, I admit you have a good eye for spotting useful clues, but you also need to learn how to make use of those clues. Alright, so let's go back to the rec room then.
Hey.
So Makoto, how's your investigation going? I told Kyoko what Toko and Hiro had told me.
I see.
So along with Byakuya, they're both claiming they didn't go see her. But it's all too convenient. Someone must be lying. Someone's lying.
Anyway.
Well, I've made some progress of my own. Sakura's body, the shelf of magazines, and the Monokuma bottles. Those three things have revealed new clues. You do well to look them over one more time. Alright. According to Kyoko, there's still something to be discovered from Sakura's body. And she couldn't just tell me what it is. I have to look myself.
Just a second.
Just staring off into space isn't going to help you figure anything out. Well, yeah, I know, but...
Hey.
Don't you think you might need to actually examine the body? There's no getting around it. Unlike me, Kyoko didn't recoil at the thought of touching a dead body. She was completely unemotional. It's the kind of thing I've grown perversely used to. Although there were still some times. I can't believe how calm you are. No matter how many times I see a dead body, I can't get used to it.
It's true.
That's totally normal. Then how can you...
So...
I imagine it's because I've had plenty of opportunities to touch dead bodies in the past. What? Yeah, that's not the kind of thing you just tell somebody. Sorry, never mind. No, I feel like we need to continue this conversation.
Hey,
More importantly, look here. Her shoes.
correct.
You see that yellow powder on her instep? Yeah, it really stands out.
I see.
That powder is clue number 1. So she must have been the one to walk through the powder then, right? Except that picture makes it look like it's on top of her shoe. How would that work?
Hey,
Next is the wound to her head. Look carefully.
it's true.
Actually, even telling you that is incredibly difficult to spot, so let me just explain.
It would seem...
It would appear that she didn't suffer a single blow, but instead received 2 blows to the head. Well, we know 2 people aren't working together on this, because why would they? So somebody nailed her twice. 2 blows.
Indeed.
Interesting what you say. And there's one more interesting thing.
Correct.
Both of her hands were spotless. There's absolutely no trace of blood on either one.
It's true.
So that's what I learned from examining her body in detail. What the hell is happening with this case? I can't believe she was able to learn all that just by looking at her body. I don't think anyone but Kyoko could have pulled that off. What's the point of her not having blood on her hands? She was dead when she got hit with the bottle? They didn't realize she was dead? Maybe that's it. She drank the poison. Somebody burst out of the locker room while she was sitting there, hit her in the back of the head 2 times, and Sakura didn't react. And then I don't know what happened after that, but I'm wondering if there were 2 killers, but one of them didn't actually kill her, they just tried to. That would be an interesting wrinkle in things. Kyoko said the magazine shelf was hiding a clue of some kind. Clue. Huh? This magazine is upside down. Did someone put it back that way on accident?
Hey,
If something catches your eye, it's important for you to explore that in detail, don't you think? Yeah, you're right. I picked up the inverted magazine and flipped through it. This is... On one of the pages near the center of the magazine, a word had been written in bold, bloody letters. And it said Toko. The hell? Why? Could this be a dying message? And the blood's over there. It seems very, very obvious, though, that it would be Toko. That kind of makes me think somebody else wrote the name.
correct.
Then it would appear you found it. Kyoko, is this?
So...
It is indeed a dying message. Someone used their finger to write it, so it might not have been Sakura. A dying message. Maybe that blood is actually vomited blood, not like blood from a wound.
However...
But just to be clear, I'm not the one who put it back upside down. It was already like that when I found it a little while ago. I made sure to put it back exactly as I found it for the benefit of others who might come looking. Hey, is that? That says Toko, right? Yeah, it looks like it. Then she's the killer, right? Well, it hasn't been confirmed yet.
I will forgive you.
It's settled, she's the killer for sure. Now see, Hina, you're doing that same thing you did with Hiro, that's making me suspect you. That's conclusive evidence, right? We can use it to corner the killer. I can see why you would think that, but it just seems too easy. If anything, it makes me that much more suspicious. Magazine dying message has been added to the truth bullet section of your handbook. I gotta say, I don't have any reason for doing it other than I wonder if that's the direction we're going with this, but I'm suspecting Hina. I have no idea why she would do it. It can't be Toko.
I will forgive you.
Toko's the killer, I'm sure of it. That magazine proves it. We've got the killer cornered. I think Kyoko says she found a new clue involving the Monokuma bottles. Something new.
Hey,
So, did you figure it out? There's a hidden correlation between all the bottles. Pay careful attention and you're sure to find it. There's 2 bottles missing, right? There's space for 2 bottles, a correlation. Hey, Kyoko, can't you just tell me what it is?
So,
I don't mind guiding you toward clues, but giving you my conclusion isn't a good idea. Each person needs to come to their own conclusions so that everyone can have confidence in the outcome. And it's not just because you don't trust me, right? No answer. I do trust you to a degree, otherwise I wouldn't have told you anything to begin with. Only to a degree.
hey,
Actually, there's one other thing about the Monokuma bottles that's bothering me. I'd like to do an experiment to confirm it. You don't mind helping me, right? An experiment.
anyway,
Can you gather up all the pieces of the broken Monokuma bottle? Try to get the smaller pieces too. Huh? Are you sure it's okay to mess with a crime scene like that?
that doesn't matter.
I've already done a thorough investigation, so it's fine. And that obnoxious Byakuya is not here, so...
So then,
Anyway, I need to get something from the chem lab. While I'm gone, try to gather up all the glass. With that, Kyoko left the room. You're asking the wrong person to clean something up. I really don't know what this is about, but what choice do I have? I better just do it. I took the broom and dustpan and got to work collecting all the broken bottle pieces. And just as I finished up, sorry to keep you waiting.
so then,
Is everything ready? Then let's get to work. So what kind of experiment are we doing?
in other words,
I got a scale from the chem lab. We're going to use it to compare weights. Compare the weights of what? The pieces of glass you collected in one of the Monokuma bottles is still intact. Why do you want to do that? That's the point of the experiment. It'll make sense when we're done.
listen,
First, let's compare the weight of 2 of the normal Monokuma bottles. It's
in
balanced,
other words,
which means each Monokuma bottle weighs about the same, which makes sense. Monokuma figures inside are basically the same and nothing else could really affect the weight.
so then,
Now here comes the important part. Put all the pieces you picked up on one side of the scale. Now, what might we expect to see? Well, a normal assumption would be that they would be even. Either they'll balance out or the pieces I collected will be lighter. I did my best to get them all, but there's a chance I could have missed some here or there.
so then,
Okay, then let's give it a try. Huh. The broken pieces are heavier because there's 2 bottles there. I don't know where the other Monokuma piece would have gone to, but there's 2 bottles there. How is that possible?
I knew it.
Just as I thought. What?
In other words,
The results of our experiment and the correlation between each of the bottles put it all together,
hey,
and I believe you will arrive at one very persuasive conclusion. So, what do you think? It's all on you. Monokuma bottle experiment has been added. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on here. I kind of do in a way, but I don't know the big picture.
Whoops! You caught me sleeping. Your investigation was just so boring I couldn't stay awake. Should I do it? Is it okay? Can I? Okay, then let's begin the class trial. You know where to meet, right? Please go through the red door on the first floor of the school. See you soon.
Man, when this is done, we're not going to have many people left. It's already time, but the mystery of the locked room is still only half solved. At this point, whatever happens will have to happen at the class trial. No, not whatever happens, I have to make something happen. You gotta be a doer, Makoto. Oh boy, alright. Wow, it is pretty empty in here. Monokuma made his announcement and everyone began to meet up one after another. And then... the ultimate martial artist. A locked room murder mystery.
what?
But the... Oh, I've just recently discovered the power of emoticons. Like, no matter how awful something is, if you toss in a smiley face, it turns positive. Monokuma must use Twitter a lot.
Yes, indeed.
For example, you're at a picnic and you find a dead body. This is just plain creepy.
Well,
And how about the reverse?
here.
No matter how great something is, if you put in a sad face, it makes it look super negative.
Yes, indeed.
For example, do you have 100 friends? He's right, that does make it seem sad.
I can't wait! I can't wait!
Now then, please get on the elevator. I'll see you all down there. What the hell was that? I don't get it.
Just the worst.
I don't get you guys. How can you act so casual after murdering someone?
Don't look at me!
I don't think I'm acting casual.
Don't be mean!
I mean, I didn't murder anyone.
What the heck?
Yeah, I'm completely innocent. How dare you call me a murderer?
What the heck?
Whatever. Either way, the truth will be revealed soon enough. Because there can be no doubt one of us is the culprit. The killer, the one that murdered Sakura. She was stronger than anyone I know. And yet someone killed her. And that person is here. That person is one of us. Surely he didn't kill Sakura.
Don't look at me!
I said it before and I'll say it again, it wasn't me. I don't think it was Byakuya. The culprit is one of us, make no mistake about that. Toko, it seems too obvious now. Because I didn't do it. How many times do I have to tell you? So if it's not one of those three, at least Hina, because it probably ain't Coco. There's still more to do with her story. And I can't see her killing Sakura, why would she? She wants to get at the headmaster.
Hey,
Standing around here isn't going to do any good, let's get going. How can you just stand there and say you didn't do it without even breaking a sweat? Come on, it's time to put an end to this. I made my way toward the elevator. But with each step I took, I felt like I was moving further and further away from my goal. I could feel a chilling fear running through me, trying to make me rot from the inside out. No matter how many times I go through this, it never gets any easier. We climbed into our steel prison in total silence. We watched the doors close, felt it begin its sinister descent.